Watch this before you get married. Before you say I do, pause and think. Do you know who you are marrying? Do you know yourself? Many people rush into marriage because of beauty, money, or pressure. But marriage is not a sprint, it is a lifelong covenant. Today, listen carefully to this story, because it might save your future. Bible verse for theme, Proverbs 19:14. Houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. The streets of Lagos were alive with music and color. Bright keek horns blasted as traders shouted for customers. But in one corner of the city, all eyes seemed to be on one young couple, Samuel and Anita. Samuel was a tall, hard-working young man in his late 20s. He wasn't rich, but he was stable. He worked in a bank during the day and taught tutorials for secondary school students in the evenings. People respected him for his calm spirit and his honesty. Anita, on the other hand, was the life of every gathering, beautiful, elegant, with skin that glowed and a wardrobe full of the latest designs. She was always the center of attention. Every Sunday when she stepped into church, people whispered, "That's Anita, the girl who looks like a model." When Samuel and Anita announced their relationship, the entire church buzzed. They posted pictures in matching Ankara outfits, smiling and holding hands at beaches, restaurants, and even outside their pastor's office. God has really blessed Samuel, some said. This marriage will be the talk of Lagos, others added. But what people didn't see were the small cracks beneath the surface. Every week, Anita would send Samuel a message. "Baby, I saw a new bag. Just N85,000. You know I can't be carrying cheap things." Samuel would sigh, look at his account balance, and quietly transfer the money. Sometimes she would say, "Sam, this weekend, I want us to go to Abuja. Everyone is traveling. We can't be left behind." Samuel, though tired from work, would force a smile. "Okay, anything for you, my love," but inside he felt the pinch. His savings were shrinking. His dreams of starting a small business kept getting postponed. At home, his mother once asked him, "Son, are you sure about this girl? Love is good, but love without wisdom is like soup without salt." Samuel replied quickly, "Mama, don't worry. She is the one. I love her. I can't lose her." Even his close friend, Chike, pulled him aside after one of their outings. "Sam, this girl doesn't look like she wants a partner. She wants a sponsor. My brother, shine your eyes." But Samuel laughed it off. "Chike, you don't understand. Every relationship has its issues. Once we marry, things will change. You'll see." He believed marriage would magically transform Anita into a humble, supportive wife. The truth is, Samuel saw the red flags. The way Anita never apologized. The way she frowned when he couldn't afford her desires. The way she compared him to richer men in their church. But he ignored them because he was blinded by emotions, by pressure, and by the excitement of weddings. The wedding date was fixed, and Anita pushed for the grandest celebration possible. "Baby, we can't do something small. People must know we are not ordinary. I want the hall at Echo Hotel. My gown must come from London." "We must trend!" Samuel nodded even as his heart trembled at the costs. Many young men and women do exactly what Samuel did. They see the signs, but they ignore them. They think marriage will change a person. But listen carefully. Marriage does not change anyone. It only amplifies who they already are. Proverbs 14:1 says, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down." Samuel was about to walk into a house that looked beautiful on the outside, but was already cracking inside. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon in Lagos. The sun had just started to soften, casting a golden glow on the streets. Church members lingered outside the building, chatting and laughing after service. Inside the pastor's office, however, the mood was serious. Samuel sat on a wooden chair, his hands folded nervously on his lap. His pastor, Pastor Daniel, a wise man in his late 50s with graying hair and kind but piercing eyes, sat across the desk. The Bible lay open before him, his glasses perched on his nose. "Samuel, my son," Pastor Daniel began, his tone gentle but firm. "You know I love you like my own child. I've watched you grow in this church. That's why I must speak to you today." Samuel looked up, trying to smile. "Yes, Pastor, I know. You've always been there for me." The pastor leaned forward. "Marriage is a covenant. It's not about wedding gowns, flashy cars, or trending on social media. It is about character, commitment, and Christ. Tell me, have you prayed seriously about Anita? Have you asked God if she is truly your wife? Samuel hesitated, then lowered his eyes. Well, Pastor, I've prayed, but I believe love will conquer all. She's beautiful and I love her. Pastor Daniel sighed. Son, love without wisdom is dangerous. Beauty can fade, money can vanish. But character will either build your marriage or destroy it. He opened his Bible and read aloud. Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Samuel, does Anita share your values? Does she pray with you? Or is she only concerned with the things of the world? Samuel shifted uncomfortably. Pastor, she doesn't really like long prayers. But she goes to church, and I believe once we are married, she will change. The pastor shook his head slowly. Marriage does not change people, my son. It reveals who they truly are. If she doesn't respect God now, if she doesn't respect your limits now, marriage will not create those virtues. You must think carefully. Samuel's heart pounded. A part of him knew the pastor was right, but his emotions clouded his judgment. Pastor, thank you. I hear your words, Samuel said quickly. But I can't lose Anita. If I let her go, what will people say? Everyone already knows we are together. The wedding preparations are in motion. Pastor Daniel looked at him with deep compassion. My son, don't enter a lifelong covenant because of people's opinions. A wedding is one day. Marriage is for life. Don't trade eternity for applause. Samuel nodded politely, but inside he had already made up his mind. He stood up, thanked the pastor, and left the office. He heard the truth but refused to listen. Many people do the same today. Parents warn them. Pastors warn them. Friends warn them. But they cover their ears and say, love will fix it. But love without wisdom is like fire without control. It burns more than it warms. Proverbs 12:15 says, the way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. How many broken marriages today could have been avoided if people had listened before walking down the aisle? That evening, Anita called Samuel. Her voice was playful and excited. Baby, I've been thinking. I want my bridesmaids to wear pink and gold, and I want 10 of them. We must outshine every wedding in Lagos this year. Samuel swallowed his worries. He remembered his pastor's words, but instead he said softly, Okay, my love, anything you want. And with that answer, Samuel's feet stepped further down a dangerous road. The wedding of Samuel and Anita was the talk of Lagos. The hall glittered with chandeliers. Guests arrived in colorful aso-ebi, and photographers flashed their cameras as if it was a celebrity event. Samuel wore a sharp navy blue suit. Anita shone in her imported white gown with a long, flowing veil. The music was loud, the food plentiful, the dance floor overflowing with joy. Social media buzzed, Couple of the year. This is what true love looks like. But weddings last only one day. Marriage begins the day after. When Samuel woke up in their new apartment, he expected laughter, soft whispers, and the warmth of a new beginning. Instead, Anita lay in bed scrolling on her phone. Babe, Samuel said gently, what should we have for breakfast? Anita frowned without looking up. Breakfast? Samuel, I'm tired. Order something. You don't expect me to start cooking on our first morning as husband and wife. Do you? Samuel forced a smile. Of course I understand. He quietly left the room and prepared noodles himself. Days turned into weeks. Samuel worked harder, sometimes leaving home at 6 a.m. and returning by 10 p.m. Yet, Anita's demands increased. One evening, Samuel returned home, exhausted, holding his briefcase and sweating from the Lagos traffic. He found Anita lounging on the couch, laughing at a reality show on TV, bags of shopping lying scattered around. Anita, did you cook? He asked softly. She looked up, irritated. Cook? Samuel, I'm not your maid. You have money. Buy food. Don't stress me. Samuel sighed and sat at the table, quietly eating bread and water. Anita insisted on keeping up appearances. She wanted new dresses every week, outings every weekend, and photo shoots for Instagram. One Saturday, she said, Baby, let's go to Dubai next month. Everyone is traveling. We can't look poor. Samuel's eyes widened. Dubai? Anita, do you know how much that costs? I'm saving to buy land. Anita rolled her eyes. Land, Samuel? Who eats land? Who cares about land? I need memories. I need luxury. If you can't give me that, then why did I marry you? Bills piled up. Samuel's salary could barely cover rent, groceries, and Anita's lifestyle. Soon he borrowed money from colleagues, promising to pay back after his next paycheck. At night, he sat in the living room, holding his head in his hands, whispering prayers. Lord, is this what marriage is supposed to be? I wanted peace, but I'm drowning. Help me. But Anita didn't notice his tears. She was too busy scrolling through her phone, planning her next shopping trip. Do you see what happened? The wedding looked perfect, but the marriage was breaking from the inside. Many people invest in the wedding but forget to invest in the marriage. Marriage is not about dancing for cameras. It is about sacrifice, teamwork, and prayer. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor." But when one partner labors alone while the other consumes, the marriage becomes a burden, not a blessing. One night, Samuel remembered Pastor Daniel's words. A wedding is one day. Marriage is for life. Tears rolled down his face as he whispered. Pastor warned me. Mama warned me. Even Cheeky warned me. But I was blinded by love and pressure. Now I see. The glamorous pictures online told a lie. But behind closed doors, Samuel was slowly breaking. It was a hot Friday evening in Lagos. The power was out again, and Samuel sat by the window, wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. He had just returned from work, his shirt damp, his shoes dusty from the long walk home after traffic delays. He wanted nothing more than to rest, but when he opened the mail on the dining table, his heart stopped. There were several brown envelopes addressed to Anita. Out of curiosity, Samuel tore one open. His eyes widened. An $850,000 debt notice. He opened another. And $1,200,000 overdue loan. Then another. And $450,000 unpaid balance. Samuel's hands trembled. His wife, the woman who had insisted on designer clothes and flashy trips, was drowning in debt. He sat back in shock, his chest tightening. When Anita walked in, humming and holding 2 new shopping bags, Samuel stood up, holding the letters. Anita, he said, his voice shaking, what is this? These debts. Anita, you owe over 2 million naira, and you never told me. Anita froze for a second, then rolled her eyes. Oh, please, Samuel. Don't exaggerate. Everyone owes. It's normal. Normal? Samuel's voice cracked. Normal is owing rent. Normal is borrowing small money from friends. But this is millions, Anita. Do you know what this means for us? For me? You've been lying to me. Anita dropped her bags and snapped, lying. Samuel, I did what I had to do. Do you think looking this good is cheap? You knew I loved luxury before you married me. Why are you acting surprised? Samuel's face was pale. His lips quivered. Anita, I married you because I believed in us. But you married me for lifestyle. You don't care if I collapse under pressure. You just want to shine. Anita crossed her arms, defiant. And so what? Do you want me to look like those broke women in your office? You better step up, Samuel. You're my husband. Provide! At that moment, Samuel's strength failed. He sank into the chair, covering his face with his hands. Tears slipped between his fingers. Lord, he whispered, is this what I ignored the warnings for? Pastor told me. Mama told me. Even my best friend told me. And now, I'm paying the price. Anita stood there unbothered, scrolling on her phone as if his pain was invisible. Word soon spread. Anita's friends started gossiping in salons and on social media. So her husband can't keep up? All that wedding noise for nothing. The same people who had clapped at their wedding were now mocking them. Samuel felt humiliated. At work, colleagues noticed his dull face. He stopped laughing during lunch. He avoided gatherings. The weight of shame pressed him down like a heavy stone. Viewers, pause here. This is where many marriages collapse. Not because there was no love, but because there was no truth. No character, no agreement. Marriage built on lies cannot stand. Debt hidden today will become destruction tomorrow. Luke 12:2 says, there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. Samuel thought silence would keep the peace, but silence only delayed the storm. That night, Samuel couldn't sleep. He lay awake on the couch while Anita slept soundly in the bedroom. The papers lay beside him like chains. His tears turned into prayer. Lord, I cannot do this alone. If this marriage will survive, it can only be by your mercy. Teach me what to do. Open Anita's eyes, or open mind to the truth I need to accept. The breaking point had come. What Samuel did next would either save his life or bury him deeper in sorrow. Weeks passed. Samuel carried his burden like a man walking with stones tied to his back. He went to work, smiled politely, and nodded during meetings. But inside he was crumbling. At home, things only grew colder. Anita's demands continued. Her debts increased, and the love that once looked so beautiful began to feel like a heavy cage. One evening, after another quarrel, Samuel left the house and walked aimlessly through the streets of Lagos. Neon lights from shops flickered, Danfo buses roared by, and music spilled out of roadside bars, but Samuel didn't hear any of it. He was lost in thought. As he walked, he passed by his church. The lights were still on, and voices could be heard singing softly inside. A youth fellowship meeting was going on. Samuel hesitated. His shirt was rumpled, his eyes swollen, but something inside urged him to enter. The young people welcomed him warmly. "Brother Samuel, please come in." He sat quietly at the back until the leader announced, "Tonight we will talk about relationships and marriage. Many of us want to marry soon, but we must learn from those ahead of us." All eyes turned when Samuel slowly stood up. His voice was low at first, but carried the weight of a broken man. "My brothers and sisters, please listen carefully. I want to tell you the truth about marriage. Not the Instagram version, not the glamorous wedding pictures, the real truth." He paused, swallowed hard, and continued. "When I was preparing for marriage, people warned me. My mother warned me. My pastor warned me. Even my closest friend told me to open my eyes. But I ignored them. I thought love was enough. I thought beauty was enough. I thought marriage would change what I didn't like. But marriage doesn't change people. It only reveals them." The room was silent. Some young women leaned forward, their notebooks forgotten. A few young men shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Samuel's voice shook with emotion. "I married for image, not for character. I married because I was blinded by pressure, by what people would say. And today I am drowning. My wife owes millions. I am carrying debts that are not mine. Every day is a battle. I smile outside, but inside I am broken." Tears filled his eyes. "My brothers, my sisters, please, don't make the same mistake. Before you marry, pray. Look beyond beauty. Look beyond money. Look at character. Look at values, because the wedding lasts one day, but the marriage lasts a lifetime." No one moved. The hall was so quiet that even the hum of the ceiling fan seemed loud. Then slowly, one young man raised his hand. "Brother Samuel," he said softly, "I was planning to rush my wedding next month because of pressure from my fiancé. But after hearing you, I realize I need to pause. I need to pray," a young woman whispered. "I was about to say yes to a man because of his car and house. But now, I must look deeper." One by one, testimonies flowed. The youth realized that they were standing at crossroads that could either bless or destroy their futures. The youth leader finally spoke. "Tonight, God has given us a gift, a warning wrapped in the pain of one of our brothers. Let us not waste it." He opened his Bible and read aloud. Matthew 7:24. "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock." He looked around the room. Don't build your marriage on sand, on looks, money, or pressure. Build on the rock, on Christ, on truth, on character. As the fellowship closed with prayer, Samuel felt something he hadn't felt in months: peace. His problems had not disappeared. Anita had not changed, and the debts were still real. But for the first time, his pain had birthed purpose. He walked out of the church into the cool night air, whispering, "Lord, if my story can save others from my mistake, then let my scars not be wasted." The night was still as Samuel walked home from the youth fellowship. His shirt was damp with sweat, his pockets still empty, but his heart carried a new kind of wealth, the wealth of wisdom born from pain. He realized something important. His marriage had not yet become the testimony he prayed for, but his scars were already saving others. Viewers, pause with me here. Samuel's story is not just his, and it is the story of many men and women today. We see beauty, cars, houses, expensive weddings, and we think marriage is about glamour. But behind the curtains, many are suffering silently. Marriage is not a photo album. It is not about trending on Instagram. It is about daily living, bills, respect, patience, forgiveness, and sacrifice. When you marry without preparation, without prayer, without wisdom, you may end up building a palace of pain. So before you get married, ask yourself these questions. Does this person fear God? Are they kind? Do they respect you and others? Beauty fades, but character lasts forever. Do you share the same vision, or are you pulling in opposite directions? Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together except they can agree?" Is this person responsible with money, or do they live to impress people? Hidden debts today can destroy tomorrow. Do they pray with you, support your spiritual growth, and stand with you in hard times? If they refuse to wait, if they pressure you, if they ignore wise counsel, pause. Marriage is not a race. It is better to wait than to regret. If Samuel were standing before you now, he would say, "Don't be blinded by love without wisdom. Don't marry for show. Don't marry because of pressure. Marry because you have prayed, you have peace, and you have God's approval. A wedding lasts for a day, but marriage is a lifetime covenant. Build it wisely." Proverbs 24:3-4 says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." May your marriage be built on wisdom, not just excitement. May it be established with understanding and filled with treasures that no money can buy. Dear viewer, if this story has touched you, take a moment to reflect. Are you preparing for marriage? Are you already in one? Ask God for wisdom. Don't rush. Don't follow the crowd. Listen, pray, and choose wisely. And if this story blessed you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so that others can also be warned before they step into the same mistake. Because sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is not a wedding, it is wisdom before the wedding. God bless you, my dear viewers, as you make the best choices.